Hello, I just wanted to talk a bit today about self-love and self-acceptance and why that's so important and how it can really change your life dramatically. So once we start to accept ourselves and really love everything about us, it gets easier to make decisions, to set healthy boundaries, to choose the right jobs, the right friends, the right activities and habits to spend our time with. When you love someone unconditionally, you want what's best for them. Whether it's your child, your parent, a best friend, you want them to make the best decisions that will set them up for success. So when you start to turn that love towards yourself, you start to do that as well. So you're able to choose a job that doesn't go against any of your core beliefs or values and that treats you with respect. You're able to set boundaries with friends or even dating. And it gets easier in dating because you realize what you're worth and what you don't have to put up with. And it's okay to have that confidence to put your foot down and say, this isn't right for me, and move on to the next one. You can be selective because you love yourself enough to want that for yourself. Another way that it's beneficial is just knowing your values in general. It gets so much easier to make a decision when you know these few things are so important to you. So let's say the environment, your family, your ability to be creative, and freedom schedule, and compassion. We'll throw compassion in there. So when those things are so important to you, when you're looking at the next job, you may be able to go down that list and check off, well, would my schedule be able to have some flexibility because, my family time is so important? Do they care about the environment? Because that's a big deal to me. Are the people I'd be working with and for compassionate? Is compassion something that's going to be fostered and nurtured there? So once you have those values set up, you know what you're all about. And it also helps with dating and friends, because when you meet someone, that's something to run through again in your head. Do they go in line with all of these things that are so important to me? Then when you're able to act in a way that is authentic to you and who you are at your core, your life just starts to flow. It starts to open. Everything becomes clearer and easier. And it's not a matter of, pining and vacillating. Is this right for me? Is this the wrong decision? Instead, you kind of have an outline for whether or not it is the right or wrong decision. So taking the time to get to know yourself and putting that effort into self-discovery and growth and development is just so worth it and makes everything else come so much easier to you. Also, it's the way to get out of any bad habits or self-defeating behaviors, because again, when you love yourself so truly and authentically, you want to do things that support yourself so that the eating habits that you've wanted to adopt for so long become easier because they're good for you and you want to do things that are good for you. Exercising is easier because it's good for you, so you'll do it because you love yourself. And there are so many different avenues to take to make those steps into committing to love and discover yourself. But really, before that you can fully love everything, you have to take the time to find everything. Sometimes you may not even know what you're loving. You can absolutely still start with that, but it's worth the investment to dig deeper and find whatever you can about yourself and love and accept and appreciate and cherish every single thing you find. There's a great quote out of this book that I love called "Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It" by Kamal Ravikant. And I did not prepare it, so it's going to be a version of it, but he basically says that we are all so desperate to be so deeply in love that we want to shout it from the rooftops, but why can't we be that person that we are so amazingly in love with? We don't need to wait for someone else to come along and want to take the time to get to know us. We can do it ourselves. We don't, we fantasize about those dates where you're just talking for hours and digging deep and really getting at each other's core, but have you taken the time to do that for yourself yet? So that's one of my favorite things to think about, because we do have that person. We are all dying to be loved truly and deeply and intimately. And before we go and wait for someone else to do it, we can absolutely start right here. And it just opens everything else up for us and makes everything else so much easier. So that is my piece today on self-love and self-acceptance. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.